So I'm just thinking out loud to myself like I always do. And I thought I'd document my thoughts for anyone interested. We're in this really interesting place in our lives where we're kind of technically retired. I mean, Thoth is very much retired. He's 70 years old. He just celebrated his 70th birthday, and he's retired. He's been doing his work for 40 years, basically, struggling, busking, street performing, all that good stuff for a really long time. And I celebrate that. But I'm 36, and I'm retired too. And it's a very interesting space to be in. And I made the choice consciously to not get us work visas, because we are able somehow to manage to take care of ourselves without having to work out here, because the cost of living is so low that it's, the money we have goes much further here. And because we don't have to work, I don't want to. But I've thought about it over the last, 6 months or something, or 8 months, since we've come to Bali, that, like in the United States, we were able to street perform, we were able to work, we were able to make money. But the United States has become so god-awful expensive that it's not worth it being there anymore. And for example, the money we have doesn't go as far there by a long shot. Like everything here is basically half price. Rent is like a third of the price. Sorry, rent is like a fourth of the price that it is in the United States. And then food and everything is like half the price. But we can't work. We can't really perform. We can't do the thing that we really love doing. And we can't even really do it even for free. Like, we recently learned from a friend of ours at a restaurant that we really have to be careful even about doing things for free, because immigration can come down on you and get upset with you. Birds are swooping down in the rice field, so pretty. So I made a conscious choice to get us retirement visas, because Thoth, you can get a retirement visa at 55, I think, and Thoth is 70, so I was able to get it through him. And then I was able to get that visa through him. He had to leave the country and come back. He went to Singapore like a few months ago, and I was here by myself. But I made the conscious choice to not get work visas. Work visas are $5,000 for both of us. The retirement visas were half that price. And next year it'll be like $1,000 to get another set of retirement visas for a year. So, and that'll be really easy, as I just go to the visa office and I get us another set of retirement visas. But we can't really do anything here. And there are times in which Thoth will say, well, what are we here for if we can't perform? And he's actually, gosh, this breeze is so nice. I'm at this really interesting place in my life in which I'm 36 years old, and yet I feel like I'm 60. I feel like I've been doing something that's just worn me to a nub, And people say, you have to believe, and you have to have faith, and you have to da-da-da-da-da. And I appreciate that kind of sentiment, that I understand that kind of sentiment, but I don't really have faith anymore in anything. I don't believe in anything anymore, because I've been let down so much. I feel like I've said this a lot before, but it's really true. It's something that I have to really accept within myself, that I feel like an old, jaded lady. I feel like an old, not broken, but jaded, sad. I mean, I'm very jaded, and I don't believe in people anymore. I wouldn't even say I like people anymore. I mean, one of the other privileges of my life is I can just be alone. I'm out here in this Bryceville, just kind of sitting here by myself. And it's really nice. And the other day I was talking to my dad, and he was saying, like, why don't you, try to do things that don't involve art, that like don't involve singing or playing violin or drawing or writing or any of the creative stuff. And I've been thinking about it for the last couple of days. I'm like, I can't think of one thing that I really like to do besides the things that I already do. It's all these ants. I like to draw. I spend most of my time sitting at home drawing. And then when I get a chance, I will practice violin. I probably will do that when I get home. When I get a chance to sing for people, I'll sing for people. And I'm amazed by my ability at singing. And a few people ask in the comments, they say, well, why don't you sing music that other people know? It's like, well, I don't fucking want to. It's cool, they have these little soda cans all tied up over there in which they get rid of birds and stuff by shaking it. It's pretty cool. They're very tenacious. They're very capable here in Balinese. So I spend all of my time, and I spend a lot of my time thinking and talking to myself about, and talking to Thoth about things, and that's the way I am. I work through stuff, and I don't have a therapist, and I don't go to a healer, and I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I really don't. I don't believe that anybody can help me with this. Not even my husband. It's stuff that I have to work through on my own. And I'm really privileged. I'm really lucky. But I feel old. Not physically. I definitely feel, very capable. I go for these wonderful runs in the morning, very long runs for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. And keep my body healthy. But I'm very strange. But I think this thing about me that is true, that I've been through things that most people my age have never been through. Where when I was 21 years old, I was arrested in Central Park for singing with my husband. And I was put in handcuffs, and I was dragged away. And I had to go to court, and I had to go in front of a judge and plead my case with my with Thoth. He wasn't my husband at the time. I was taken away by police in Barcelona and had instruments taken from us, and had to pay tons of money to get the violins back. I was homeless, like in the last story thing I was telling. I was homeless when I was 21 years old with Thoth 3 times. When I was 21 years old, this was when I was 21 years old. I didn't know much about the world at all, and I was very much smacked in the face and made to and shown that the world doesn't care about me or what I do. And I was led to believe when I was young from my family that I would achieve everything I could possibly imagine. And I have achieved amazing things, but in a very strange way. I haven't become world-renowned or famous or, and I probably won't be. And that's something I'm having to really come to terms with, is that this is the life I have. And this is the way it is, and this is how I feel about things. Like I don't believe that what we're doing is going to be world-renowned or seen, or we're going to have stages to do it on. One never knows what's going to happen. I can't know, and I don't say I know that we're never going to. I don't know, because I've been shown in life that you just don't know what's going to happen. Like to have gone from being on the sidewalk in Paris on Thanksgiving Day when I was 21 years old to sitting here in this beautiful rice field with this dog sitting next to me is amazing. And to realize that it is a dream come true to have the life that I have and all the privileges that it entail, that I can eat whatever food I want to eat, that I can do whatever I want to do, including nothing, that I can spend all my time with the person that I love spending time with the most, Thoth, that I don't have to bother with anybody anymore if I don't want to, that I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do unless I want to do it. I can take walks, and I can also just say fuck off to anybody who bothers me or I don't want to deal with. So I'm really lucky, and I'm really grateful, and I count my blessings every night when I go to bed. I'm really grateful for Thoth. I'm really grateful for our house. Really grateful for our little puppy Mimi. I'm grateful for our stability, our financial stability. I'm grateful for my ability to draw, my creative skills, for my singing ability, for for the life that we have, for the fact that we've made it to Bali. But I think what it is that I've been everywhere. I've traveled all over the world, and I've been everywhere, and I've done so many things. And I'm only 36 years old, and most people, by my age, haven't done much of anything. They've been in a dead-end job. They live somewhere close to their family. They go out to bars every night, and I don't even know what normal people do. And whatever, people do what they do, that's fine. I'm different from other people. But I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV since I was 20 years old, since I left my mother's house. Even then I wasn't watching TV. I haven't watched TV in years and years, over a decade of time. I don't socialize with anybody. I don't like socializing. I don't like being social. I don't like small talk. I don't like just sitting around with people just to be around people. The only time I really like being around people, anybody, is like the other day when we were with these really special people, and we got to play for them and I got to share my art with them, and we were just spending time with these really cool people, and they were colorful, creative, and then we went out and had this wonderful food together. And the thing is, for me, is that I'd rather be alone than be with boring people. Like, I don't care about being with people just to be with people. And that's my choice, and I'm really lucky. But I think the luckiest thing about my life is that I don't have to deal with anything that I don't want to deal with, or talk to anybody if I don't want to talk to anybody. And it's not like I'm not friendly. It's like when I go on my runs or we go to dinner, I'm very friendly to the Balinese people or anybody that might talk to us. But I'm in this place now where I don't need anything from anybody anymore. And for a really, 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 really long time, I needed people's help. And that was so draining. I can't even tell you. It's like I was in a position since I was 20 years old in which I desperately needed people's help. And I was always, anybody we interacted with, I'd be looking at them, hoping that they would help us, hoping that they would give us money or give us a place to live, or any place that we'd go and visit. I'd be looking around and going, like, is there somewhere where we could stay? Because we were just desperate all the time for survival. And we made a lot of mistakes because of that. We were in a lot of positions where we should have just walked away. We should have just walked out of the situation. And we couldn't, because we needed somewhere to live. And there's so many situations like that. And only recently, in the last year, we actually had a situation where we were in Romania. Sorry, we were in Bulgaria. We were in the capital of Bulgaria, and we were with these people who, unfortunately, they were not people that we needed to be with. and there was some behavior that happened in which we just couldn't handle it, and we just walked out. We just walked away. And there was no explaining that I had to do. We just said, sorry, we have to go. And, and it was such an empowering experience. And there's so many experiences like that that I wish that we had been able to walk out. There's an experience in New York City in which we were staying with some people in which the moment we walked into the place, we should have walked out. We should have just walked out and said, sorry, we can't stay here. Many situations in which we should have just walked away. A lot of the people that we stayed with or rented from or whatever, lived with in the 15 years that we have traveled and survived somehow, we don't talk to those people anymore. And I so wish that we didn't have to, that we weren't in a position where we had to give them our money. And there were so many instances in which we had to busk, and we just gave every penny of our money to these slimy people that I wish because it was inexpensive. It was relatively inexpensive in comparison to other places, but they were slimy people, or people that we just didn't click with, and we weren't able to just walk away because we had to have a place to live. And now we can just walk away. We can just, it's really, really helpful to be able to do that. And these friends that we recently made, we don't need them in order to survive. We're not in a position where we need them, that we need their friendship or we need anything from them to survive. It's just they're friends, and if we become close with them, then that's great. And if we don't, then that's fine. We'll just continue living our life. We have a baseline of stability, and sometimes I get bored, and sometimes I get tired of it, or I start losing my mind, or any of that stuff. But I think that's part and parcel of the whole deal of the life that we live. And sometimes I get depressed and frustrated, and maddening depression sets in and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's part of that's part of the package. And for me, the thing that really helps me is just sit and talk to myself about it, and I document it. And I'm really happy that Thoth is documenting his experiences too. He's not as raw and vulnerable as I am. I'm very vulnerable about, what I feel and how I experience stuff. That's me. That's the way I am. But I think another thing that's happened for me that's been really important has been, that's cool, is that I'm coming to an experience of it's okay for me to be the way I am, because I'm really strange. I process things in a really strange way. I overthink a lot. I talk a lot. I need to talk through stuff. I have a very narrow set of things that I enjoy doing. I enjoy drawing. I draw obsessively all the time. I like singing. I like playing violin, playing music, playing our music, not playing other people's music. And a couple people have asked that, so why don't you sing other people's music? It's because I fucking don't want to. Because I don't have to. I never have wanted to. Well, in the maybe when I was 20 years old before I met Thoth, I liked doing that. But I did it, I never did, well, I did it professionally to a certain point. Not professionally, well, I don't even know if I ever did it professionally. I had a choir job when I was 17, 18 years old, in Nashville, where I got paid every month to be the section leader. Actually, I was the soprano section leader for a few years when I was a teenager, and I got paid to sing choral music, and I sang some really awesome roles in college, but I never managed to get into that professional realm because the whole thing was bullshit. The world of opera, professional opera and professional theater is everybody kind of has to be a cookie cutter. Everybody kind of has to be like everybody else. You really can't be unique and singular to be a successful singer or opera singer or theater performer. You kind of have to be, and I've only noticed that in the last couple of years. It's a lot of the most famous actors can be pretty generic looking. They have long brown hair and brown eyes, and they look kind of classically gorgeous, and or male actors have brown hair and brown eyes, and and if they do have a singular look, then they play singular kind of roles, and they're typecast. They're character actors. Um, so yeah. So I don't think that was ever my destiny. And it's by being here, I'm really seeing that that wasn't my destiny and isn't my destiny, because here I am. This is where I am. I'm not on a stage. I'm not playing music in a theater. I'm not touring around the world. I'm not an actor or a professional singer. And also the pressure of that. I'm not sure if I would want to do that, even if I could. I'm not sure I'd want to be a professional singer who was, had all this, the pressure to, tour and do all this and that. I don't want to be pressured. I like doing what I want to do when I want to do it. That's how I've always been. I'm stubborn. And I stubbornly am who I am and do what I want to do. But the other day I was actually reading about famous artists' daily routines. People like, Salvador Dali and Van Gogh and Picasso and people like that. And seeing how their routines are very similar to ours. Get up at 6 a.m., work until a certain time, and work on one thing, and then go out to eat and come home and go to bed. And that's what they do. Painters just fucking paint all day long. Writers just write all day long. That's what they do. And that's how I've always, ever since I was a kid, maybe starting when I was 10 years old, I would just sit and draw all day long. And I don't really share my drawing process because it's so private, but I will. I'll share, I'll share my art eventually. But I don't share, I don't do time lapses, because it makes me uncomfortable. It makes me feel like I have something over my shoulder looking down at me. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing when I draw. Nobody does. So I really think that I am just a weird artist person. And I think I was getting some perspective on that from my dad the other day, because I was talking to him. And he's much more normal than me. He's able to be more normal and be around normal, boring people and talk about nothing. I'm not like that. I can't deal with small talk. I'd rather not talk to people than talk about nothing. If I'm going to talk to someone, I'd rather talk about stuff that's important. Even people that I like being around, if they become, where they don't really want to talk to me about anything important, then I don't really care about being around them. Because I like thinking. I like talking about things that are important to me. That's the way I am. So, yeah. Thoughts for the day.